So we are now live on Zoom and on Facebook, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us today to learn all about our newest, latest, fresh out of the box feature, score-based outcomes. So let's see if everything is working properly. Yes, we are live here and we are live over there. Oh, there's already people joining. Hello, say hi in the comments so I can see you. Okay, so today we will be taking a look at InvolveMe's new feature. For those of you who have already tried this new feature or read the blog post or just saw that suddenly the outcomes look a little bit different, you might have noticed. So for those of you that is nothing new, but for most people, this is a lot. So today we'll be dissecting it and taking a very close look at how everything works. Just a quick introduction to what score-based outcomes are in a nutshell. Score-based outcomes are a new outcome type that we have been working on for a long time, and we finally released it last week along with some new templates, so you can see score-based outcomes in action, how they work with real-life examples of real-life businesses. So today we are taking the time to explain how it all works and show you where to find all the new things that we have added and how to use them. This demo is also being recorded right now. Yes, it is. So yes, there will be a replay. You can watch it anytime, as many times as you want to. You can invite friends. It will be completely public after the live is over, so go crazy. One last thing before we start the demo, there will be a Q&A section at the end of this webinar. So anytime you have a question, even if you think that I'm just about to answer it, because I will be showing you things very step by step, the second you think of a question, put it in the comments, and I will have a look at all of them to make sure that everybody has an understanding of what can score-based outcomes do for their business. Great. So are we ready? Okay, I think we're ready. So what are score-based outcomes? Score-based outcomes are a new way to react to what your customers say. They expand the way in which you can talk to your customers, basically, even more that you already can with InvolveMe. You can think of score-based outcomes as a system that takes everyone's answers, evaluates them, and then it decides what outcome pages to show based on a score, which is why we're calling them score-based outcomes. The score can be a score range that you can determine yourself, of course. For example, you can send people who score between 0 points and 20 points to an outcome page that says, not so great. And people who score above 20 points can go to an outcome page that says, that's pretty good. So score-based outcomes allow you to explain what the score means. It explains you, they help you to further assist, help, and educate and segment and move people further down your funnel on a very individual basis, on a more individual basis that you were able to do before, which is why it's so exciting. Okay, so about the scores, there are 3 ways in which you can count this score. The first is based on any number value that you enter next to each answer that's selectable. So you have 3 options, 1, 2, 3. Option number 1 is worth 5 points. Option number 2 is worth 10 points. Option number 3 is worth 15 points. You just type them in with your little hands, completely customizable. Then the second way in which you can count these scores to decide which outcome to display would be by how many answers people get correct or incorrect. That's something you might have already been working with. People have been using correct and incorrect answers in InvolveMe for a long time, but what you can do now additionally is you can display, yes, you got 2 out of 3 correct, but you can also tell them what that means. Does it mean they failed? Does it mean they passed? Does it mean, what does it mean? So you can make different pages for different scores now with score-based outcomes. And then finally, the third way in which you can count these scores is by using a calculator. If you want to do something super specific, if you have a very clear idea in mind, you can make your own calculator formula that counts the score for you. So you can get very, very granular with selecting which outcome to display based on these scores and how to calculate these scores. Today I will be showing you how to make a little personality test that counts a score and displays answers based on the score. And I will also show you how to make a product configurator with custom shipping that uses a custom calculator. So you can see how both options, how like the simplest options and the most advanced fancy option works. Cool. So that is basically what score-based outcomes do. That is your, in a nutshell, explanation. Since we have released score-based outcomes with some score-based outcome templates, that was a mouthful. I'm going to show you right now. Let me find, where's my screen sharing? Yes, should be here. Cool. So now you should be able to see my screen. Are you? Yes, you are. Awesome. So we have released some of these templates which explore the different options in which you can use score-based outcomes for your business. So first of all, obviously, we made a calculator. It's a credit score calculator, and it shows you it calculates your credit score, but it also explains to you if it's a bad credit score, if it's a good credit score, and suggests solutions for each credit score range. So if you have, if you are a mortgage company using this template and people land on the very bad credit score, you don't offer them a mortgage, you don't offer them your services, but you offer them options how to fix it before contacting you. And people with a great credit score can go straight to your sales teams, straight to your real estate agents, and you can start working together. So let me show you this template. I already have it open here. Right. So every time now, when you start making anything in Involve Me, you might have noticed that it looks a little bit different. And that is because we have added score-based outcomes. Before, down here, you had two options, thank you page, and answer-based outcomes and score-based outcomes were joined into one thing, which was called multiple outcomes, right? But now, thank you page has remained completely unchanged. Now, if you were using thank you pages, for example, for a contact form or for a very basic payment page when you're selling one product and everybody ends on the same final page, that's a thank you page. Nothing has changed for you. You can live your happy life with Involve Me. If you have been using multiple outcomes, for example, like a personality test or quizzes or lead generation quizzes or anything where people can end up in different places based on their answers, that used to be called multiple outcomes. And we have now separated multiple outcomes into answer-based outcomes. That's how multiple outcomes used to work before. And we have added score-based outcomes where we determine what page should each person end up on based on a score that we calculate in the three ways that I have mentioned previously. So the first step of making anything with score-based outcomes is picking score-based outcomes here, clicking start editing. And of course, all the new templates that are made with score-based outcomes in mind already have this option pre-selected, so you don't have to wonder. And you will see that over here in the outcome section, behind this little line, we have the options or like the outcomes that people can land on. So we have a very bad credit score, a bad credit score, an acceptable credit score, an okay credit score, a good credit score, and a very good credit score. And the way we connect these outcome pages to the score, which we collect from asking people different questions, is here in the middle. Do you see this little button? That's also new. these are your outcome settings. So as I said, there's three ways in which you can set them up. So that would be either individual score that you assign to each answer, and I will show you how to do that in a second, or based on how many answers people answer correctly or incorrectly, and also on your own custom calculation. So those are the three ways, and this is where you would set them up. So yes, that is how this particular thing works for the credit score calculator. Moving on to some of the other templates, we have a literature pop quiz. I already mentioned education would be a great way to use score-based outcomes, since you are able to determine whether a student has failed or passed and let them know based on that score. So let's have a look at this template over here. We ask them a few questions about literature. They are marked as correct or incorrect. And then based on correctly answered questions, if they answer up to 1 correctly, which means 0 or 1, they will end up on the failed page that tells them that the score and that they didn't pass, and gives them the option to retake the quiz. If they have exactly 2 answers correctly, they will end up on the passed page. And if they get the perfect score, which is 3 out of 3, they will get the "you passed with flying colors" message. So this is essentially what a very basic understanding of what score-based outcomes can do for you. Okay, moving on to another template, we have what's your emotional intelligence. This is a great example of a personality test, which uses a range of points to show you different results. So this is what it would look like. It asks you a lot of questions, and each question, all the questions have the same answers, which is a range between usually, sometimes, and rarely. And each of these has a value. So usually gets 3 points, sometimes gets 2 points, and rarely gets 1 point. And then at the end, these points get counted over here on an individual score. If you score up to 10, you end up with a low emotional intelligence. If you score between 10.01 and 20, you end up with an okay average emotional intelligence. And if you score above that, you end up with a high emotional intelligence. Now, each of these come with a specific answer, which helps people with different issues. So if you have low emotional intelligence, that comes with its own challenges. So for example, if a therapist was using this on their website, they could add a button here and link some of their help documents, maybe a link to book an appointment with them, and they will already know what issues is this particular person facing. Same goes for people with extremely high emotional intelligence. They face a whole different set of challenges, and you can recommend them different content with this button. Maybe a different PDF, direct them to a different place in your website, book an appointment in a different calendar with a different therapist. This is what multiple outcomes essentially are for. You are able to respond, react in real time to what people tell you about themselves, and direct them to specific places instead of just shoving everyone into the same path that might not be ideal for them. Imagine making a contact form on your website with a system like this. You will be able to pre-segment everyone contacting you before they even get to speak to a real person, and it's such a time saver. But that's for another day. Let's move on with the templates. This is going to be one of the templates that I will be making today, and that is a product configurator with optimal shipping. So this is for a coffee shop that sells coffee beans. Let me see if I have it open. Yes, I have it open over here. So you can pick between these products, and based on the quantity that you pick, it can calculate whether you qualify for free shipping or not. So people who qualify for free shipping will end up here, and you can display a price that includes the shipping. That includes the free shipping, so it doesn't include the shipping fee. And people who do not qualify for the free shipping will get a custom formula which adds the shipping onto the final price, and then you can charge these two different prices separately with PayPal and Stripe. So that is an example of a payment page with score-based outcomes. Let me double check if everything is still okay. Yes, everything is still okay. Perfect. Great. I just get paranoid when we're live. Okay, so can you afford a mortgage is another template that you can make, that we have made for you. So you can just grab this and make your own mortgage calculator. Score-based outcomes allow you to ask more specific questions and explain the results. So for example, if you have a regular mortgage calculator, it just tells you what kind of mortgage can you afford, like what are the expenses that you can like get ready for. But this one, because it's based on a score, can tell you, can answer yes or no questions. Can you afford this mortgage? Yes or no. People who can afford a mortgage based on their calculation will get one message, and people who cannot will get a different message. So this makes your calculator so much smarter, and it allows you to help people and explain things to them without even being there. So it's a real time saver, and it might look complicated, but it's very simple. So you ask questions about people's financial statuses, people's finances, and you can direct them into no, you can't afford a mortgage, and yes, you can afford a mortgage. This is based on a custom score calculation, which is basically your formula calculator, and if the conditions that determine whether it's a yes or a no. So that is how you would make a smart calculator with score-based outcomes. Moving on, we have another two psychology personality tests. So we have a self-assessment test for ADHD, which is right here. And again, it asks you ranged questions on a range between never and very often. And again, each of them has a value, and based on this value, you end up on one of these pages. And there we go. So the last template would be over here. Are you a thinker or a feeler? And this template is right here. So again, it takes the score into consideration, and it sends you either into a thinker page or into a feeler page. And that's it. So these are our outcomes. Let me close some of these because right now you're seeing a lot of my tabs. And let's move on to actually making these templates. So let's actually start with, okay, so now we don't have too many, perfect. So I already took the liberty to recreate the look of the template so we can focus on the functionality. You don't, I'm guessing you don't want to see me fiddle with the color and font and such things. However, one really cool thing that I wanted to show you is that a lot of the templates that I showed you, which have these grayish shapes in the background, can be changed in a very cool way. So over here in background color, let me copy paste it so I don't lose it. So if you drag these transparency pickers, sliders, you can see that the color is changing because the background itself is actually just this transparent overlay. Do you see it? It kind of looks like a fingerprint. And if you change the colors, you can change the colors of your entire background of your entire template very easily. So we publish a lot of these templates in this way in order for you to be able to customize them to your brand as much as you want to. So you can control the color by either dragging this or just by moving this little picker over here. And the templates in which that you can do this for is credit score calculator, just has the gray shapes. This one, of course, you can change the background color because it's just a plain color. This one I just showed you. This one is also just a plain color, so you can completely change the background color. This one as well has the little house shapes in different colors. This one also has the circle shapes in different colors, and this one can also have these abstract shapes in different colors. Yay! So all the new templates that we have released can be fully customized to your brand without you having to look for your own images in the background, which is exciting. Great, so let me change the color back to what it was. So you can really see that, like, yes, this is actually the template that you just saw that we will be recreating. Okay, so first we need a quick headline. So we'll be asking, what's your emotional intelligence? Thank you, Grammarly, for catching my typos. I would have hated that when I rewatch it. And we can give them a little bit of information about what emotional intelligence actually is, so they can get an understanding of what we're trying to help them with. Let's add a button so people can actually take the quiz. And now it's time to add our questions. I'm going to hit this little plus sign. Boom. Now we have space for a question. And I'm going to ask a multiple choice question, just like in the other template. And the question we will be asking is, or is rather a statement that people needs to express their agreement on. So it's, I am good at clearly communicating my thoughts and feelings. Great. Now we are going to create a frequency scale by giving them options like usually, sometimes, and rarely. Stunning. So now for the fun part, we will attribute a numerical value to each answer, so that answer can be calculated into an overall score, and that score will be included in a range, and each range will have a separate outcome. So we have the low emotional intelligence, average emotional intelligence, and high emotional intelligence people. So in order to do that, over here in individual score and calculation, you see that? We are going to tick this, and now we are able to enter values down here. So we're going to go from 3 to 2 and into 1. And that's it. And because every single question has the same answer scale, we don't need to recreate it for every single particular question. All I need to do is just duplicate this page, right? We had 10 questions, so yeah, now we have 10 pages that already have these values from 3 to 1. So we don't have to enter them again, and we also don't have to type in usually, sometimes, and rarely. So all we need to do is just enter the rest of our questions. I'm going to do 2 more just so you don't have to watch me type all day. So I listen carefully when other people talk. Perfect, that's my second question. And the last question that I will be showing you, but let's just imagine that all 10 of them are there. The values are there, so we can still calculate them into the score, but let's pretend they're all different. I'm good at seeing things from another person's viewpoint. There we go, perfect. So we have these 3 questions, and let's just imagine that the rest of them are also different questions. You kind of get the idea, right? You just enter different text into the different questions. That is if you were to recreate this template, or if you have something in mind that perfectly aligns with what I'm making right now. Okay, so these are our questions ready. Now we need to make the outcomes. I already made the low IQ and average IQ, so you don't have to watch me duplicate them. But basically, I'm going to add a new outcome right here. I'm going to name it high EQ. And we will need a headline that tells them a little bit about their IQ. So it's going to be their EQ. Sorry, I'm sure I've made this mistake way too many times during this recording. Never mind. So this is the result, and this is a little description and a little explanation for the result. Again, if we were a therapist, we can be more practical. We can try to sell booking an appointment or downloading a PDF, buying a book, an ebook, whatever. All we need to do if we want to make this shoppable would be to drag the payments here. And now we can sell people products based on their emotional intelligence or whatever kind of test, personality test, quiz we are making. That is not the case today. Today, we just want to tell them what their emotional intelligence is. So we need to display the score. That's it. That would be their score. So you got 20 out of 30. That is your score, and it means that your emotional intelligence is higher than most people's. Great. Because we want this to gain as much visibility as possible, because this is our business, let's include a social share element, maybe add LinkedIn as well. Could be suitable for this particular case. And yes, now people can share their results. You can also customize the result sharing over here. If you click the share element, go to settings, and if you take let participants share their outcome, which means when people hit share, they don't share the whole quiz, but they share their results. And that let me show you, let participants share their outcome. And over here you can write, my IQ is higher than most people's. Look, how about yours? You can also upload a custom sharing image, which can basically be a screenshot of the outcome page that you just made, or anything that you think will make people on your quiz takers social media click this test or quiz and take it as well. So that's pretty much it. So we already have the high IQ results page. One more thing before we go. A lot of people who make quizzes just make them for social media engagement, and that is perfectly fine and valid. However, if you want to further monetize or like get even more out of your quizzes and tests, personality tests, whatever you're making and putting it on social media, try drag and dropping a contact form in there and kind of blocking the results with an email gate. This way, you can ask people for their email and you can collect that email and then send them the results via email. And that's something you can also do with InvolveMe. You can send emails straight from InvolveMe. You don't need a different email software. Everything works from inside of InvolveMe. You can also set up emails for different results. So low IQ people get one thing, average EQ people get another thing. So just one thing that I wanted to mention before you guys go. Cool. So now that we have everything made, the one thing left is to connect it. Your test, your personality test, or your quiz can know which answers or like which score range should be connected to which page. And to do that, over here in outcome settings, you can pick individual score, which is already pre-selected because that's what most people end up picking probably. And you can see that your maximum score is 30, which means that is the highest amount of points that you have set up, because we have 10 questions in here and the highest value is 3. So the maximum score would be 30. And yeah, here you just need to select the range that determines what page is shown. So let's say if people score up to 10, they will end up on low emotional intelligence. If people score up to 20, they will end up on average, okay, emotional intelligence. And if people score more than 20, so between 20.01 and 30, they will end up on high emotional intelligence. You save it, and that's it. That is how you set up your score ranges and how you connect your outcome pages to them. So that would be one way of using score-based outcomes. Another way, which is a teeny bit more niche and maybe a little bit more advanced, but don't be scared, it uses a calculator. It would be the product configurator with shipping, the one that sells coffee that I just showed you moments ago. So let's try to recreate that one. So it started with an image answer, and it had 3 options. So we'll be deleting the last one. And it was in this layout, nicely right next to each other. And now let me add the coffees. So we had, we had the first coffee, the second coffee, and the third coffee. And this one was worth $25. What's called? It's aroma. So aroma, and it's worth $25. The second one is called pure, because that one is fancier. We can make it $29. And the last one is premium. So let's make this one $30. Premium. Oh. $30. So how do we know which coffee, how do we know that like this picture that the person clicks on needs to be $25 somehow? How do we make that calculation happen? Same as what we just did with the emotional intelligence test. Over here in individual score and calculation, tick. And now we can put the prices here. So this coffee is $25, this one is $29, and this one is $30. Done, just like that. So now the calculator, will be able to take these prices and use them for payment. So people can basically put together their own price by selecting different options. What was the question? Choose your coffee. Great. So this helps people choose the product. Now let's help them choose the quantity, which determines whether they qualify for free shipping or not. So adding another page and asking a drop-down question and asking how many, and we can include it. So like how many $29 coffees would you like? There we go. And over here, we can just type in the amounts that our eStore allows them to select. So let's just do 5, so you don't have to watch me go up to 100. Oh, this is 5 and this is 4. Perfect. Now, again, we need to be able to determine that people selecting 1 actually is supposed to use number 1 in the calculation when we're calculating prices. So again, individual score and calculation tick, and type in the value 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's it. Beautiful. Very important thing when we're selling anything is asking for people's contact information. And again, you can do that super quickly by just drag and dropping a contact form into this page. And that's it. But because we are shipping, it would make sense to ask for more than just first name, last name, and email, because we need the actual address so we can actually send the product. So we have a full service solution here, not just like, okay, they paid, but where do I send them? I need to send a separate email. Don't worry, you don't have to do that. Drag and drop a contact form again, and let's exchange these values for a street address, a zip code, a city, and add 1 more for state, and add 1 more for country, and make them all required, because we need all of these to be able to send it. And because we already asked for them to subscribe to the newsletter and agree to processing of personal data in the previous question, we can just delete that. So there we go. We have the personal details, and over here we have shipping details. Yeah. So that is the actual select product selection, product configurating part of this template. So we already have two outcomes created here, which is without shipping and with shipping. How do we know who goes where? We're going to make a custom calculator formula for this, but don't worry, it's going to be very simple. So we already have a custom calculation selected, but if you don't, this is how you select it. There we go. So how do we find out who qualifies for free shipping and who doesn't? It is based on question number 2, which is how many coffees would you like? Because if they get 2 or more, they qualify for free shipping, which means the formula would be this. That's it. So if the value from this question is more than 1, which would be 2, they end up qualifying for free shipping. Let me actually rename these. So this would be with shipping and without shipping. There we go. So if they buy less than 1, so like if the answer to this question is 0 or 1, then they have to pay shipping. But if the answer to this question is more than 1, which would be 2, 3, 4, 5, they qualify for free shipping. Done. Cool, so that is connected. Now let's actually make the payment pages. So we didn't add a logo. Let's add a logo to make it a little bit more brandy. So over here, it looks like I froze for a little bit, but that's okay. Cool, so we have the logo here now, and we can just quickly copy paste it into all of the pages. Cool. And now put it in here and put it in here. Great. So now that we have the logo, let's summarize their order a little bit. So what can we say? You're ordering and what they are ordering. 3 this kind of coffees for $29, and this headline is insanely huge. So let me make it just a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit more smaller. There. Okay, cool. Let's bold. Should it be bold? Let's make it not bold. Okay, cool. So that is the headline, and this is your final sum. Yeah, so now let's calculate how much they actually have to pay. So we will be doing that with calculators down here. Drag and drop a calculator, and we will be telling them that they are paying this many dollars plus the shipping, because this is with shipping, yes, plus $29 shipping. Great. And then we can show them the total with shipping just underneath with a second calculator. So let me do a little line here so it doesn't look too confusing with the numbers all over the place. So another calculator just underneath here. And this calculator will just tell them the total. So this is going to be in dollars, whoops, and this is going to be the total. Stunning. So now let's build the formulas over here in Formula Builder. So this one is going to be the final amount plus shipping. So it is the type of coffee, which comes with a price. So that will be $25 times how many they want. So $25, for example, times 2, if that's what they select. So that is the total without shipping. That's going to be displayed here. And over here, we will have the total with shipping. So what coffee they pick, how many of it they pick, plus shipping. There we go. So that total is going to be displayed there now. Now, in order for them to be able to pay it, we are going to select one-time payment because it's a one-time payment, but we can also switch it to subscriptions if we want it to be a recurring monthly thing that recurs automatically and money just magically appears in your bank account every month. That's awesome. But right now, no. So it's going to be via Stripe, and we can also add PayPal so they can pick whichever one is best for them. And yes, I know it says test, that's because this is a testing account and I don't want to actually make any payments accidentally while showing it to you guys. Okay, so here we can pick some of the currencies. I'm going to leave it at dollar, and the price source, that's important. We are going to select a calculator. So we have two calculators. So we need to select the one that says total. So the payment button will display the total from the calculator that includes shipping. Done. Now for the second page that does not include the shipping, let me actually just copy paste this so I don't have to do the whole thing again. Also the payment. And I'll just make the calculator from scratch so you guys can see again. So calculator is going to have a dollar sign, and it's going to say total. And the formula for total was answer from question 1, which is what kind of coffee and how much it costs, times how many of those coffees would you like without shipping, because you bought more than one, which means you qualify for free shipping. Yay, that's it. Let's try if it actually works. We always recommend previewing your design on different devices to see if that is what you were going for. So this is how it looks like on desktop, and this is how it looks like on mobile. You can switch in between them. Yep, this is what we created. Now, in order to actually test it and make sure everything works, so for example, if I created this product configurator that's supposed to calculate custom pricing and custom shipping, I need to be able to see if it actually displays the correct pricing and the correct shipping. So let's try it, and I'm actually a little bit nervous to see if it works. So, okay, so let's pick aroma, which is, no, let's pick premium, which is $30. Let's go fancy because I'm not paying for it anyways. And I would like to qualify for free shipping. So I will select 2. After having selected 2, I'm just going to put in some of these fake details so you don't have to watch me type them in. Country, of course. Cool. So I'm ordering to premium for $30, and the total is $60. So if I pay with PayPal, it's going to tell me to pay. And it doesn't say the number because it's still a testing account. Thank God. Let's try again to see if I can go to the no free shipping page, if that's correct, because this is all correct so far. So again, going fancy with the premium, selecting 1. Copy pasting some of these values. Of course, I'm subscribing to the newsletter. Perfect. So $30, that's the one we selected, right? Plus 29, that's 59 total, right? So the formulas work, the payments work, the buttons are clickable, and I can actually see the total now, which is awesome. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That has been how score-based outcomes work. Let me drag some of the channels where we are live here. Oh, I can already see some questions. Okay, so there is a question about external data before passing on the outcome. That's a very good question, and you are right, it is a little bit advanced, but that is why we're here, so don't worry. So yes, the only way to pull in external data would be by adding them to the URL, and we can save them as hidden fields. Let me quickly show you how to create hidden fields. This is advanced, so if it's too much for you, if you just want to make a a smart form that can calculate custom shipping. Don't worry, you are not required to use hidden fields. So hidden fields are basically tiny wizards that can include information from the information that you already have in your CRM, in your email system, or just on a giant Google Sheet somewhere. Like you already have to have this information. Maybe you have already collected with InvolveMe or with something else. But as long as you have that information, you should be able to include it in your InvolveMe project. For example, if we already know what is this person's first name, there we go, we can create a first name hidden field, which will give us this little URL parameter thingy, which we can then include into the link of our project once our project is live. And that will call the person by their first name. So we can say, choose your coffee, first name. So if this is an existing customer and we want to let them know that we have 3 brand new types of coffees that we would like him to know about, we can acknowledge that we already know who he is and that we're friends and be a little bit more personal, and we can call him by his first name without having to ask for the first name or really for anything inside of this that we're making today. It also means that if we already know this information and we're using hidden fields, this form can fill itself in magically. So if we already know the first name, the last name, the email, and all the shipping details, because this is a recurring customer, we can already put that in for him. And he will see it pre-filled and he just needs to click next and go on. So we're saving our customers some time by doing this. An important thing when using hidden fields is remember to replace input with an actual personalization token. So if you're sending this via email, for example, you're using HubSpot or MailChimp, Google MailChimp personalization token for first name, and it will tell you what to replace this value with. It's usually some sort of curly bracket. Let me see if I can even find it. I found it. It's usually some sort of curly bracket, and it says contact, and then it says first name. Something like that. Sometimes it doesn't say contact. Sometimes it just says first name, sometimes it's first dot name, sometimes it's something completely else. So make sure to check with whatever you are distributing this with to make sure that that token will actually be replaced with the value that you would like to include. Otherwise, it's just going to say input. So it would say choose your coffee input. And his name is not input, and it's confusing, so that wouldn't be very nice. Okay, let me see if there's anything else that I missed. Doesn't seem to be. So that's pretty much it. Let's not make this any longer than it has to be. If you're just joining in, this will stay live on Facebook. We will also put it on YouTube. We will also have it on our website in the tutorials section. Yes, we have a tutorial section with all the previous live webinars and feature demos. There's also a blog post, which is basically the written version of this whole thing. There's also a quick step-by-step tutorial. So anything in any way in which you would like to start working with ScoreBased Outcomes or hidden fields is ready there for you already. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, let me actually, yeah, there we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been great. And yes, see you sometimes next time we do something awesome, which is all the time recently. So probably soon. Have a great rest of your day, evening, anything that's happening in your time zone. Bye.